Hi, so today I'm going to be covering the question of how do you correctly facilitate an overhead squat by basically increasing mobility in my shoulder joint, my hip joint, and my ankle joint. Alright, so let's start from the bottom. So with your ankle joint, we're mainly concerned here with dorsiflexion as opposed to plantar flexion. So in order to facilitate dorsiflexion, we're going to be doing a dorsiflexion mobility. So what we're doing here is I'm making sure that my knees are in line with my toes. And what I'm going to be doing is I'll be pulsating towards the wall, making sure that my heel is in contact with the ground and it's not lifting up, which is a common mistake. And also another common mistake is the knee bending in, or basically out of alignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple in, touching the wall. Once that's fine, we'll move it out. Repeat again. And we're going to try and find that nice sweet spot. So here we're looking at least 5 to 6 centimeters of mobility. Okay, same time. So that way we'll repeat on the other foot, making sure again that my foot and my knee is in track. And that's how you facilitate ankle dorsiflexion and mobility for a safe overhead squat. Alright, so let's now move on to our hips. So basically, whenever we're doing a squat, we're mainly concerned with the adduction, which is basically creating that angle, and also hip extension, which basically for us is mainly inhibited by our modern lifestyle of sitting down on a desk and includes the switch stuff. So a great way to loosen our adductors and create that adduction and rotation in our hips is a simple goblet squat. So I'll demonstrate for you a goblet squat. So to do a goblet squat, we're basically going to have our feet about shoulder width, comfortable stance, turn that at about 30 degrees. And what we're going to do is we're going to get into a nice squat. It doesn't have to be all the way, but if it's deep enough you can. Place your elbows in a prayer stance, basically press out. So what you're doing is you're actively activating the adductors and you're stretching at the same time. And all I'm going to do is rotate here. So what we're going to focus on is keeping your chest up, pressing out, making sure that my knees are again in line with my toes, and a common mistake is that we're up on our heels. That's what we want to do. We want to keep right in our, we're up on the balls of our foot. We really want to be right on our heels. Let's do a couple of circles and breathe. A couple of circles the other way, and that's how you open up the hips for that overhead squat. Okay, so our final one for today is going to be opening up our shoulders. Basically, we're going to be trying to facilitate our thoracic extension, shoulder stability, as opposed to flexion, which will obviously inhibit that movement. We want extension. So I'll just move this over. Alright, so to gain thoracic extension and basically get more shoulder stability and mobility, we're going to be doing the lying thoracic extension breathing exercise. So what we'll do is we'll get your foam roller, place it just underneath your scapula, which is your shoulder blades. And what we're going to do is basically just underneath your shoulder blades, hips lifted up, brace your core, and what you're going to do first is you're going to get your elbows and make sure they're tucked in. When they're tucked out, which is a common mistake, basically our shoulder blades are pushed in and the foam roller isn't against the spine. Once our elbows are together, as so, it stretches the scapula and the foam roller is right against our spine, which basically opens up that thoracic extension. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure my elbows are in, core is braced, and my neck is in line with my head. It's not bending or leading. So as I take a deep breath and out, my back is slowly relaxing, and I'm getting that shoulder thoracic extension for 8 breaths. From here, we put the foam roller right at our scapula and repeat the same thing for 8 breaths. And then lastly, we'll just put right just above and repeat as so. So those are the 3 joints: your shoulder, your hip, and your ankle joint. Those are 3 exercises for mobility to facilitate that safe overhead squat. Thanks.